Just first of all, just tell us how you've sort of used the time since the Huddersfield game.
We had a couple of days off over the weekend after the Huddersfield game. I came back in Tuesday, and we've got a bunch of work done since then.
What about your internationals? Have they come back unscathed?
Yeah, Priz picked up. Matty Pryor picked up a bit of a bump during the game, but it actually settled quite a lot since as the game went on. So we're still hopeful he'll be okay. The rest of the guys came through totally unscathed.
And you always knew that point was coming where you were going to have those good selection issues. How challenging has it been for you to select the side, particularly this week? Yeah,
difficult, and that's how you want it to be. It's always going to be a squad effort to take on a season. So everyone gets their turn at some stage, and fortunately, it's some of our more experienced and seasoned players that are available at the moment. So it's good.
What do you base your selection sort of criteria on at this point? Are you looking for the experience at this stage?
Oh, there's lots of things that go into it, but having our best players on the field is number one. And for me, still learning some players up close and working out what our best combinations are in certain situations is still a work in progress. We're going to have a different spine again, so that's exciting. But it can also take a bit of time to get flowing again.
Do you feel like Aidan Caesar's in a position to come straight back in this week?
Yeah, Caesar will play some footy this weekend at St Helens. He's in good condition. He's done an excellent rehab, and he's looking good to play some time.
What are you expecting from him in particular, given the fact that he's been out for so long now?
Oh, I just expecting him to be himself, to do what he's done for a long period of time. You don't forget how to do that when you've been out injured, but also urging him just to take his time, not to put too much on his own shoulders, just to get out there and let the team flow and help the team flow and kick and chase and do all those things that he's built his game around.
Given the fact James Bentley's back available and given the fact he'll be returning to his former side for the first time, if he plays, do you sit him down and have a particular conversation about not overstepping the mark, given the emotion that might be there on Thursday?
James and I have been speaking about managing emotion and how to best execute. For 6 weeks or so since I've been here, so I don't think it really changes too much this weekend. Obviously, he can't control how the other team might, try and poke him or annoy him or that type of stuff. But James is understanding that he needs to be in control of himself and be himself, get out there and play hard and compete. And it'll be a good occasion for the kid, I think.
Just on a broader point about the squad, how much heart do you take from the fact that you're able to name you've only got one from your first 13 squad numbers missing and two from your first 17?
I'm always looking about who is named, not who isn't named. So that's exciting. Every week's exciting to name a team that's going to get out there and do their best. That's what it's about. It's good to see Aidan back out there for the first time since I've been here. And Harry Newman will be in a position to start the game and play a bunch of footy. So it's exciting, but we've got to get the ball rolling and really find our best game.
What specific challenge will Saints provide then on Thursday?
Oh, they've been the best team in the competition for a long time. Doesn't matter who's playing for them or who's not playing. They find a way to compete at a very high level. We've got different ways of beating you. They're pretty much the complete team. So we're gonna have to be at our very best to challenge them.
Do you try and take them by surprise, or just try and execute to the highest possibility?
Oh, we'll be going to fire some bullets and to try and generate some opportunities, no doubt. They don't beat themselves, that's for sure. They find a way to get the result. So we're going to have to throw a bunch at them, and we're also going to have to defend well and scramble hard, as they will be. So we're looking forward to the opportunity to test ourselves.
Just lastly for me, Jack Broadbent's obviously moved on. What was the thinking behind that at this stage?
Oh, Jack's had a bit of a disrupted season. He's sort of been in and out of the team at various times, and with Zach joining, with Sutcliffe and Newman back in the picture, and we're at some health, and Reece Martin's also done a bit of time at centre for us. That we felt, Jack's moving on next season, so he was looking for some regular game time, and I couldn't sort of give him that with any sort of confidence in the next month or so. So there was an opportunity there to go and play at a strong club. So his request was granted there.
What did you make of the performance of your guys in the international the other day? Were you pleased with the way they all went?
I thought they held themselves, handled themselves well, played well, contributed to a good contest, and they represented our club well. I thought Cruz particularly stood out in a positive way, and but I thought they all did their part and played their part into a good game.
You just mentioned obviously Jack Broadbent moving on at the end of the season. What is the situation at the moment with recruitment and retention? Are you already working on that for next year? How far into it are you? I mean, I assume you're not going to name any names, but have you got people lined up to come in?
We're in some conversations with a few players. Retention has been the major focus. We've also got a bunch of young players that have progressed this season, so their sort of status and position in the group will move forward for next year, so that there won't be a lot of new people into the building, but there will certainly be a little flurry of signings at some point.
You expect more players to leave? Obviously, there's a few out of contract.
There's some out of contract, and some of those are ongoing conversations and discussions, and some of those have already been tied up elsewhere and yet to be announced. So there will certainly be some departures for sure, and there'll be some incoming.
And just on obviously getting Aidan Caesar back this week, you said you'll have a new spine. Does that mean that he'll be starting, or are you going to keep us guessing on that?
Aidan will start. He's ready to play. Yeah.
How do you balance that when you've got more quality players now than you've got positions? You've got Zach, who could play fullback. Jack Walker's getting close. You've got Richie Milo, who can play fullback or half, and they've been playing pretty well, some of them, for the last few games. How do you sort of balance that with bringing quality players back into the team?
Well, we just got to pick the players we feel like are best to give ourselves the best opportunity to play well this week. Aidan's a senior player in the group, and he's had a bit of a disrupted first half of the season, but he's in good condition, so there's never any doubt that he'd be back in when he got the work under his belt. The week off last week has given him a sort of extra bit of prep. If we played last weekend, he probably would have played. So that gave him a little bit more time to get really ready to play. We've got flexibility there with Zach as well. He can play, wing and centre as well. So that it gives us some options there to sort of finalise our team tomorrow, and also from week to week to do what we think's best.
Is it a horses for courses sort of thing with your selection? Then maybe different players for different opposition on occasions.
Yeah, that'll be considered for sure, the opposition. But most of all, it'll be who we think's right based on preparation and combination with other guys in the team. How that looks on a weekly basis. Sometimes you guys don't see it, but players are unavailable to train for periods of time during the week. So sometimes that lends itself towards somebody else that is fully fit and done all the training to be better placed to play that week. So there's lots of things that obviously go into that.
Just touching on Jack Broadbent, I believe he played in your first game at Salford. So was there anything that you saw in that game that you weren't impressed, or is it just a case of there's just not room for him anymore at Leeds?
Yeah, the last couple of matches, he's had a few niggling injuries, but nothing major. He missed one or two games with a minor injury, but he's been available. It's just we've chosen some other some senior seasoned players. Fusatua returned, Sutcliffe returned, Harry Newman also. So there's some quality players there that were just a little ahead of him in the pecking order at this point.
and going from one youngster to another, obviously I know that Morgan Gannon's doing his A-levels this week. Do you sometimes forget how young he actually is in terms of the maturity that he shows when he does play?
Yeah, Morgan's a great young kid, very balanced, head on his shoulders, very intelligent kid, footy smart. He's done a tremendous job for the club. He got a bump against Warrington a few weeks ago, and he's had to undergo the concussion protocols as well as navigating his way through physics and maths and all the other A levels. So Morgan hasn't been considered to play this week based on his lack of consistent training and being such a young player and coming off a head knock that we as a group feel that taking care of his long-term health and preparation is priority there. And Morgan understands that. We look forward to getting him back in the mix again soon.
Yeah, just touching on his A levels, how are the club and yourself sort of supporting him with that? Are you just giving him the time off that he needs, or is it sort of going to be straight back into rugby league as soon as?
Well, it's his last exam today. Morgan's extremely dedicated towards his rugby league, so he won't want to miss a day. The only reason he's missed a day is because he's had an exam that's clashed with training time. And credit to him, he's come in the afternoon and caught up some work, got in and around the academy sessions in the afternoon, I think, at times as well. So he's a quality young man that's taken charge of his own life in every possible way, which is a great example for all of our players in our youth system.
Just going back to Jack Broadbent quickly. I know you've not been here too long, but he's a player that showed quite a lot of promise last season. Why do you think it's not worked out for him more recently?
To my knowledge, Jack, prior to me arriving, had already secured his future elsewhere for the seasons to come. And I don't think that it hasn't worked out. He's played a bunch of games. He's done well at times. There's other seasoned players. If you look at our players that have been selected in front of him in recent times, they're experienced, veteran, high quality players. So there's no shame in sometimes as a young player not being selected in with other guys, more credentialed.
Is he a player that you might have liked to keep on if you'd been able to? Do you think there's a super quality player in there? Do you think he'd be a good player for another club?
It was one of those questions that's not, he wasn't available to stay. So it's not something that I spent time investing in.
Just quickly on Jack Walker, I mean, how close is he? Is there a target in mind for when you'd like him to come back?
He's close-ish. He's likely still a week or two away. He certainly won't play any football this weekend.